Hi, Scott Ryan here. Thank you for joining me. This week it's been interesting. I mean, you have the worst of both worlds in this kind of economy with horrible employment numbers. Over half the country seems to be on some form of welfare. And then you've got oil prices and gasoline prices tripling since Obama comes in. That is a recipe for disaster. That's Soylent Green material right there. It's a poke in the eye. It's a stab in the back and turning the knife when you hear this guy out there demagoguing Americans for trying to find simple, viable ways that we know will solve the problem, while he is making every effort, steamrolling us, violating the Constitution, using his agencies in an abusive manner to stop us at any pass. He is trying to sabotage this country. This guy is a terrorist. You think about we've got our military all over the world fighting terrorists. For what? The thing that those terrorists want to do to us, the things about our way of life that they hate, that they want to deprive us of, the reason why they want to conquer us, are the very things that this guy in the White House is doing to us on a daily basis, assaulting our freedoms. He's not naive. He's not in over his head, as Mitt Romney says. This guy is methodical. There is not one facet of human life in this country that he is not assaulting from every direction, overwhelming. And that has been his strategy from the beginning. This guy is nothing short of a terrorist. And you hear this thing about how Obama is now attacking the family farm. He's trying to tell parents farming for hundreds of years, whose families for generations have farmed, and that has been their way of life. Now they're trying to take away the parents' right to have their children farm that land. Like, that would be the most horrible thing that could happen to them. Those parents are exploiting those children. Now, this isn't about farming. This is about control, just like everything this guy does. From exploiting children in those videos, those Obama children. You look at the way he violated those children in his campaign in 2008. You look at the way he's got his face on that flag that was flown outside of some public Democrat building in the country with Obama's face on it. This is the kind of stuff that dictators, third world dictators, Mao, Chinese dictators, or Islamic dictators. These are the same tactics. We're having our faces rubbed in it, and we are denying this guy's intention. We're like the frogs in the boiling water. It is unbelievable. People just don't want to admit it. They want to believe the best. They want to be naive. We are naive at our own peril. This guy is promulgating every assault that those terrorists that we have our troops overseas fighting against. They just use everything that they use is a precedent. Whether you're talking about Roe v. Wade, they legislate, they make a precedent. The family farm is just the beginning. They want to roll every single facet of your life, and they want to own you, and they want to own your children. This is evil. Just like with these school lunch Nazis, with his wife, Michelle, out there indoctrinating children around the country. This is a full-fledged battle. I was thinking back today. I mean, we forget about, how many years ago was it? Back in 1999. Remember Elian Gonzalez? This child whose mother took him and swam from Cuba with a homemade raft to escape the kind of bullcrap that this imposter in the White House is pushing down our throat on a daily basis. Do you remember? Can you believe how far we have fallen in the last 15 years? And it never would have happened if it were not for the onslaught of immorality in this country. It never would have happened without getting people so dependent to where their whole life is dependent upon entertainment. When you look at the entertainment, the trash that fills our mind. We draw our entire meaning of our existence as a society on entertainment. These Hollywood Marxists, these people are violating our families. They are violating us. It is time that we shut that tube off and that we take back our families. We take back our lives. We get off of the addictions. We get off of the pornography. This country is so entrenched in the sewage of popular culture that we are exactly where they want us. We are in a place emotionally, psychologically, mentally, and spiritually where we have never been as a nation. We are ripe. We are made to order for tyranny. MTOs, baby. We are made to order slaves at this point. It's scary. I mean, to think about what's going on here, and when we looked at Elian Gonzalez as fleeing Cuba, we are becoming that very thing that they went to flee. From Cuba to South Florida, that they risked their lives for, and one gave her life. The mother gave her life to escape that, and we are embracing it. And we are listening to this imposter, this saboteur, and we are applauding him as he attacks the family unit, that he attacks our values, that he destroys this country. He is gutting it from within, pushing immorality in the military. The first thing he did when he came in was to sow strife and undermine our military by pushing homosexuality, by lifting don't ask, don't tell, and preoccupying the military with political correctness. And then that isn't even enough. Now he's pushing for gay marriage. He is destroying that. He's destroying the economy. He is going after the churches. Every single facet, we are under attack. What is left? What is left? Why should we be afraid of these terrorists in Afghanistan? All the way over there, coming over here. We've got it. We're here. It's here. It's real. It's time to stand up. And at this time, we are faced with the prospect of nominating a Republican as nominee who inoculates successfully this president on his most egregious trespasses. He cannot accuse this president. He cannot go after this president on any moral ground. He has no moral high ground. Just a few years ago, he was on the same side of all the social issues before he started running for president. He's built a model. He built the model for this Obamacare socialized medicine, the biggest power grab, the biggest albatross in American history that will surely bankrupt this country. We've got millions of people infatuated with silver hair and a silver tongue. They can't tell you why they support him. They can't tell you why they think he's a conservative. But we're going to hand him over, the one guy that inoculates, the guy that built the prototype for this massacre against our economy. And he lied. He lied. Nobody's reporting it. Fox News isn't reporting it. Now they're reporting about Rick Santorum, some comments he made in Puerto Rico. Not even in an interview. Just overheard. Somebody had a microphone on and somebody asked him a question. It was a setup. And it was diminutive in importance. It's ridiculous. We got Fox News all over that story. But they have still not had the integrity. They are pulling the wools over the eyes of their viewers, and they are responsible for what happens to this country because Mitt Romney is their guy. If he gets nominated, they are solely responsible. Yes, he has spent hundreds of millions of dollars from these sleazy PACs that back him, these sleazy companies whose names should go down in infamy if he is to win this nomination. But Fox News, in their media malpractice, has not yet reported the fact that Mitt Romney has lied about the key component that was his primary exclusive defense left, stating that he would never advocate an individual mandate on the federal level. He lied about it repeatedly on the campaign trail as he scoffed at his opponents and claimed that federalism allowed for him to promulgate his socialist medicine scam on a state level, but he would never do it on a federal level. We know now that he lied, just like he's lied throughout his campaign, just like he's flip-flopping. Flip-flopping is lying. It is purporting to be something that you are not. And if this guy wins, all those things that we talked about, the assault, the war that we are in right now with the left, they will be victorious. And the next step after that is the step that Obama has had from day one that he took office, and that was to force this union to fall apart. Today, the Republicans were in Illinois campaigning, and he said he wants to welcome them to Illinois because he just happened to be there at a couple fundraisers. He wants to welcome them to the party of Lincoln, our party. He co-ops Lincoln, and he jokes that he hopes that maybe some of Lincoln will rub off on them. That is offensive. This guy is the biggest fraud, but he's very charming. He's very cunning. Because this guy, from the day that he first, the reason he lived, of all places, in Illinois is because he is contrived, and he was put together. The Manchurian candidate became the Manchurian president, our worst nightmare. But in the contrivance, in the creation of this puppet, he was placed in Illinois for that very reason. Served in that state house of Lincoln. Every chance he gets, he stands in front of Lincoln, he evokes Lincoln, he quotes Lincoln, but it is an abomination of desolation. He is the anti-Lincoln. This party and Lincoln campaigned on the principle that a human being cannot be the property of another human being. That is the foundation upon which slavery was abolished. Because human beings are made by God, and they are created with intrinsic rights. That's what the Declaration of Independence is talking about being created equal. Not that we are all given the same stuff, despite the amount of work and sacrifice we made. It means we have the same value, the same fundamental rights to freedom, the same humanity. And that is exactly what Obama is opposed to as a abortifier. As one of the few people who are so barbaric as to support direct infanticide, like when an abortion is botched, a baby full term is born alive, and sitting in that delivery room, Obama supported having the right to go in and murder that living human being. That is ownership. That whole concept is based upon the fundamental flaw that liberals from the beginning, just like the Democrat Party was the pro-slavery party before the Civil War, and that is the reason why they are the pro-slavery now and worse party. They are the pro-slavery, they are the pro-murder party. Because the only way you can advocate such atrocities that would make the Nazis blush is by contending that human rights come from the state, and that they are mere property. And until we realize what we are up against, we're deluding ourselves. This guy means business, and his business is destruction. Thank you for joining me. I'm Scott Ryan.